Welcome back to the channel. We're back on the 2010 F-150 with a 5.4. I just did a delivery using a dump trailer, and check it out. I got a wrench light. It doesn't seem to run bad, but it came on as oil, change oil soon. So I said, well, let's start at that. I got it out here warming up so we can change the oil. We're due anyway, but that doesn't sound like it's in limp mode to me. That thing, doesn't that sound pretty sweet? 180,000 miles almost. So what we're gonna do is just a quick one here, is we're gonna change the oil on it. The filter's out front there. I got me a Ford filter. I got me some motor oils, and I got some Lucas. I'll grab a wrench, a drain pan. I don't even think we need to jack it up. This should work out good. I'm gonna let her warm up good so it's flowing, and we'll get started on it. I'm letting it run for a little bit. It's just starting to throw some heat in there, but come out and feel your upper radiator hose, and it's not warm enough yet. Heater hoses aren't too bad, but I want to get it warm. It drains fast, you know, it circulates good. I want to get all that oil out of there. All right, she's warmed up. I'm burning my fingers here. It's a 13 mil socket. Let's see how tight I got it. Not too bad. And it's clean, so there's no leakage right there, so we shouldn't have to worry about a gasket. I think they say replace your gasket every time. Who does that? I don't know. Dealer? Something to charge you more, I guess. Common sense. Wipe it off, keep it clean. If it's leaking, replace it. Let's see how much this is going to spray here. And I got my cheapy vinyl gloves on. They help. You got to wear it, you know. So we're going to let this drain down. This will take a few minutes. I like to get it all out of there. I didn't jack the truck up. I didn't put it on ramps because we've got a trailer hooked on. We got the dump trailer on. So I thought, well, that light came on. I did check the codes on it. And there is a code for, I don't know, ABS. Let's see what it's called. It's not the ABS light, but it's pressure transducer, something like that. And then it says in the same one, brake switch mismatch. So I'm going to search what that is. And this may be totally unrelated, but I did do a brief search, and they said it could be simple, like changing your oil. You know, Ford is very generic on telling you what they think is wrong with it. I wish they would come out and say this is it. Others said that maybe the four-wheel drive unit up there has a switch that's bad. We're going to check all this stuff, but I was towing, and I turned onto a lawn, and they said, turn around on the lawn. I said, I didn't want to tear it up. Oh, you're all right. Well, I didn't want to tear it up. So I clicked on the four-wheel drive. Just as soon as I clicked it in four-wheel drive, the light popped on. I was like, ooh, the wrench light. And I was like, So it could be four-wheel related. I did have my foot on the brake, and now it says brake issue, brake pedal, no, brake switch mismatch. So I'm going to search that and see what it is. It might be something simple, I hope. I hope it's not an ABS module or something stupid expensive. You know, truck's getting old like I am, and I don't want to spend that kind of money on it. So we'll see if it's something reasonable. It'd be nice if it's just a connection problem or something. And where'd the bolt go? Did it fall in the hole? There it is. But this is just a quickie on service, and it's 44 degrees. My toes are cold. I got cheapy little sneakers on. thin sneakers on, I should say. And then good time to do this when it's not raining, snowing, or crappy outside. Laying right on the ground, I can just fit underneath the running boards. And the oil filter on these are on an angle in the very front. Sometimes you can reach to take it off from the bottom. Then you're less apt to make a mess. I put Lucas in this last time when I serviced it. And I'm going to take a marker and mark up on the air cleaner box what, the service record on it, so I can keep a track. You put them little dinky stickers on, they seem to fall off. I guess this is good. We're going to tighten this back up. 13 mil. Like I said, it wasn't leaking at the gasket. So we're just going to move on. We'll go to the filter next. I got to switch and crawl in from the front. The lift in there would work, but like I said, I got the trailer on. That lift I bought used for, I don't know, $500 or $600. It was pretty cheap, and we didn't do anything but replace a hose on it. One of the hoses was dripping or something, and I said, well, let's change it before it flies out of there. And it's handy, but you don't get up very high. So let me move around the front. So I took the wrench and loosened the filter up. It's not leaking yet. I'm going to try to do it from the bottom. Maybe I can control where the oil goes. So it's up. Can you see it? It's up there. I'm going to catch it. And it's probably not a bad thing to let oil run on the bottom of your suspension parts because it keeps the rust off. But I'm going to reach up there. I can't even set this down. So we're going to loosen that up, and maybe I can install the other one from under here. I'll see. What are you doing, Tig? Got some kind of bird over here they was chasing. Squirrels out here somewhere. I don't see them. But the sun just come up. It's pretty nice out, foggy. 44 degrees. We got some pretty flowers going on. Follow along with the channel. We've got more windows we're doing on the project here. I brought the lift around this side, and I can reach all of them up inside there on the second story deck. I can reach the living room, obviously, on both sides, and then I can reach the bedroom window on that far side just from one setup. I cannot reach this one here, this trapezoid, but I can reach up in there and get them 3 windows. There's 3 up in there, and that's obviously right on the ground level. So windows will be in here in about a week. We'll get back onto that. This side should be easier. It's lower down. It's a little simpler. But back to our oil. I can reach it under there, but I couldn't see it. So you couldn't see it, I couldn't see it. Let's do it from the top. That's how I usually do it. She's down in there. So here's a filter. Still got a lot of oil in it. We're going to do the motorcraft. You want to just check them, inspect them, make sure the gasket's still on both of them. Sometimes you take your oil filter off and it pre-oils it. You take your oil filter off and the gasket stays on the engine block. Now you're in trouble. Double gasket's going to leak. I've heard of that happening. I think a Walmart near us did that. They had to buy somebody an engine. Didn't last long. So let's put her in there. This is on a 45 degree. Comes off straight from the front. See the mess it makes? It's got a little plastic tray, but it's a mess. That should be pressure washed. So I'll just screw that on. We'll get going here. Okay, she's all installed. We're going to go ahead and fill her up. I got my funnel out here. Alright, we got to start off with some Lucas because it's so thick. It takes time to run down in there, you know. Like motor honey. I remember that a lot of years ago. We used to, my brother and I think we used motor honey. I think it's the same idea, like an STP treatment. So I'm going to put about a quart. We serviced the Nissan. We put some in that. I always put it in this. I put it in the tractor. Put it in everything. I think it helps the oil stick to engine parts on, you know, better on startup rather than all the oil draining down, no lube. I always had this crazy idea. Tell me how crazy it is. If they could figure out how to make an oil pump prime with, say, an electric 12-volt motor prior to starting the engine. Do they have something like that? Your damage doesn't happen when it's running. Your damage happens on startup. It goes from 0 to 1500 or higher RPMs when you first start, and you get a lot of timing chain and upper and rings and all this kind of damage happening right away, boom, until you get oil pressure. So I don't know, I got to come up with an idea, something I can patent, you know. So I'm using all mile coverage, and it's a Super Tech, and I think that's just as good as anything else. I think Walmart buys into another company. They don't tell you. Valvoline, I don't think there's a Super Tech oil company out there, is there? Oh, we got 5 quarts of this. Get that in there. It's saying, ah. But on these 5.4s, I shouldn't say 5.4s, on all of these engines, they had the variable valve timing, the solenoids in them. You got to keep your oil changed. You got to keep it clean. You got to change it often and stay on top of it. Oil's getting expensive, $20 a jug, but it's cheaper than an engine. I thought if the body on this F-150 King Ranch was in amazing condition and I needed an engine, well, that's a no-brainer, because a new truck is how much versus, you know, an engine. I probably can get one for $5,000. That's not too bad. Right, Tiger? You want an engine? No, you want a Scooby snack? But I don't know. You can't keep the bodies on them anymore. I like this truck because it's got the navigation and the leather. It's a nice, comfortable ride. Normally has power enough. I wish I waited. I wish I could have found a 2011 model with the Coyote 5.0 whatever, but I got what I could get, and I've had this for 10 years, using up what's left in this one. You know, been a pretty good truck. It's gone through a couple alternators, and I did a water pump on it. I figured, why not? I did 2 belt tensioners, this is the second battery I put in it. We done brakes on it like 3 times. And manifolds, you know, all of them need manifolds. And there's a new manifold out. I don't know if it's new, but it's a header design. I'm considering going to something like that, but I don't know. I hate to spend any more money than you have to. What else I do on this? Change oil a bunch of times. We flushed and filled it. We put that stupid flush kit in there. I don't know if I should have done that because I split the original hose, but that dripped once and that was it. And the antifreeze is nice and clean over there. So been a pretty good truck to me. And I wish we were in a different state to where we didn't have the road salt. So I'm going to fire it up now. And we'll get oil pressure. We'll shut her down, let her set a minute, and check our fluids. Make sure we're full. You heard me whine about it before. The oil pressure, like I said, the worst time is on startup. So you need to get the engine rotating to get the oil pump to fill things up through all the channels that you just drained. So instead of going in there and just firing it up and let it run a minute, you know, it probably goes 10 seconds or longer before it builds pressure. I don't know if this is foolish, but I crank it, let up, crank it, let up, make sure it doesn't start. Or if you press your pedal all the way to the floor and then crank it, it goes into like a flood mode and it won't start. That gives you a second to build up oil pressure before you know, hitting a high RPM. So that's what I'm going to try. We'll do that. I'll put it in flood mode. And then you just let off the pedal and let it start. And we should have instant oil pressure now. It looks great. You can hear the exhaust manifold ticking again, and it's both sides. This is 2 manifolds replaced on this side, 2 manifolds replaced on that side. New bolt kits, stainless and torqued. So you tell me why they don't come up with a better solution for that. Cast iron's probably not the way to go. They should have done aluminum, I don't know, something that can handle the heat, but do something that can handle the expansion contraction. And you can see you don't hear any ticking now, but it's the expansion. There's a crack in it somewhere. I don't see it, but there's a little crack somewhere. It's annoying on startup. I don't know if I want to do another one. But see, this engine sounds good. It's no upper valve noise, no lower noise, obviously, and it's got a lot of power. But let's shut her down, check our oil now. All right, let's check that oil. It's been a few minutes. And it's slightly over the full mark. This has crosshatch and dots. Low dot, high dot. Let's see if we are high dot. I'll make sure we got our 7 quarts in there, you know. And we're right on it, so that's good enough. All right, so that's it, guys. Just a little servicing. I got that. It's not a check engine light, it's a wrench light. But it did throw a code, but the check engine light never came on. That's kind of strange. I marked this with a white Sharpie 179726, 7 quarts, 13 millimeters, your drain socket. That's kind of cool to do. And then the filters this accepts is like the SuperTech, if it's Walmart, ST2, and then the Ford FL820. I like to write them on there. And then you want to check all your fluids, antifreeze full, brake fluid full, clean. For this wrench light, here's your 4x4 vacuum switch. There's a way to test it is you want vacuum going down to your 4-wheel drive hubs at all time. And when you disconnect, it's supposed to go back into 2-wheel. I'm sorry. When you disconnect, it goes in 4-wheel. And so the best way to do it is to have it on the lift, let the wheels hang, and then you can tell if the axles are in. And got electric, vacuum. So we could test that. I don't think that's a problem. Brake switch mismatch, pressure transducer. That's kind of new to me. So I'll check into that. Could need a brake switch. Maybe I'll check the brake lights aren't working. It could be something simple. And see that manifold we replaced? That was a tough one. We had so many studs broke off, and look how nice the hardware is on it. And I cannot believe that cracked again. I don't see where it's cracked, but I'd probably brush that off a little bit and see if I can notice it or listen when it's cold. That's kind of a bummer. Too bad we can't just zip a weld on that while it's on the engine, you know. I bet somebody could if you could do cast. But they're right down there exposed to all the elements, so you're splashing water on a hot manifold all the time. Designers, you know. So thanks for watching. We're gonna, if I can come up with a solution on this wrench light, I'll do a video on that. But I take my card and I write that, throw that in the glove box, my reminder, and the truck has an automatic reminder on it. It pops on. So let's see if this is not going to get expensive again, because this old Ford, we want to keep her running. Thanks for watching. See you soon.